The silence after a disaster is the loudest sound imaginable, a silence that screams of loss, of questions, of a world suddenly fractured. And then, amidst the wreckage, a beacon of hope emerges the black box, that indestructible orange sentinel, promising to whisper the secrets of the final moments, to deliver the unvarnished truth. For decades, society has placed an almost sacred trust in these devices, believing them to be the ultimate, unbiased witnesses to tragedy. We want answers, and we believe the black box holds them all. For Eleanor Vance, a veteran air accident investigator, that promise had always been sacred. For over 2 decades, she had stood by the mangled remains of dreams, her faith unwavering in the data retrieved from those hardened recorders. Every crash site was a puzzle, and the black box was the master key, a digital oracle that spoke in precise, unfeeling data points, revealing the truth no human could deny. She had built her career, her reputation, and her very understanding of accountability on this bedrock of technological until one case that didn't just challenge her methods, but shattered her very perception of truth, forcing her to confront the unsettling reality that even the most trusted witness can be imperfect. It was the tragic loss of Flight 714, a humanitarian cargo plane carrying vital medical supplies to a remote disaster zone. The aircraft, a sturdy workhorse with a seasoned crew, simply vanished from radar screens over a vast, unforgiving mountain range. There were no distress calls, no warning signs, just a sudden, chilling void. The world held its breath, then mourned. The recovery operation was arduous, a testament to human perseverance against nature's indifference. Weeks later, amidst the snow-capped peaks and twisted metal, Tay found it the black box, miraculously intact, its bright orange casing a stark contrast to the gray desolation. "Here it is, Eleanor," her colleague, Mark, had said, his voice thick with exhaustion and a glimmer of hope. The truth, finally. Eleanor remembered the surge of relief, the collective sigh from the team. They had their witness. The data would speak, and the questions would cease. The initial analysis was swift, and, to the public, seemingly conclusive. The flight data recorder showed a rapid, uncommanded dive. The cockpit voice recorder captured a flurry of alarms, a shouted exchange, and then a deafening silence. The official report, fast-tracked due to the high-profile nature of the mission, pointed to a catastrophic structural failure exacerbated by a possible pilot input error in the final moments. The public, hungry for closure, accepted it. Another tragedy explained, another chapter closed. But Eleanor couldn't shake a gnawing unease. The black box, rather than offering clarity, seemed to shroud the event in a thicker fog. She had spent too many years meticulously poring over every byte of data, every faint whisper, to accept a narrative that felt incomplete. The initial readouts were perplexing. A sudden, inexplicable dive. Yes, but what asterisk caused asterisk it? The data showed a momentary power fluctuation just before the dive, a flicker that was dismissed as insignificant. But to Eleanor, it was a warning sign, a tiny crack in the edifice of certainty. Then came the more glaring inconsistencies. A critical 30-second window of data from the flight recorder was corrupted, unrecoverably, as if the recorder itself had blinked at the most crucial moment. 30 seconds. In the frantic world of an aircraft in distress, 30 seconds could be an eternity, a lifetime of decisions and reactions. What secrets had been lost in that digital void? The official report simply noted it as unrecoverable data, moving on to the next available fragment. The cockpit audio was even more ambiguous. That garbled, frantic whisper, cut short by the impact. Was that a warning? A scream of terror? Or just static, amplified by tragedy and human projection? Eleanor replayed it countless times, her headphones clamped tight, trying to decipher meaning from the noise. She heard what sounded like a strained voice, but the words were indistinct, lost beneath the roar of alarms and the ambient sounds of a failing aircraft. It was like trying to read a story with half the pages torn out. And then there were the subtle discrepancies with other evidence. Ground radar data, meticulously cross-referenced, showed the aircraft's final path deviating slightly from the flight data recorder's trajectory. Witness accounts from remote villagers who had seen a flash of light in the distance spoke of something that did unquite align with a simple structural failure. Each discrepancy, though minor on its own, accumulated into a mountain of doubt in Eleanor's mind. The black box, designed to record the truth, was raising more questions than answers. Eleanor found herself increasingly at odds with the official investigation. She felt compelled to dig deeper, to challenge the prevailing narrative. She sought out independent experts, retired engineers, seasoned pilots, acoustic specialists, quietly at first, then more assertively. Their interpretations of the limited, ambiguous data diverged sharply from the official findings. One expert suggested a highly unlikely but not impossible external impact. Another pointed to a never-before-seen software glitch that could mimic a structural failure. Each new perspective, while offering a potential solution, simultaneously chipped away at the foundation of the official report, creating rifts not just in the investigative team, but in Eleanor's own certainty. How could something designed for absolute truth yield so many conflicting narratives? The very public trust, so wisely given to the black box, felt like it was eroding with every unanswered question. The official report was eventually released, a polished document presenting a plausible but ultimately unsatisfying conclusion. Eleanor felt a gnawing unease. She understood the pressure to provide answers, to bring closure, but she couldn't shake the feeling that they had settled for an asterisk answer, not the asterisk answer. Many anons remained, relegated to footnotes, or simply ignored in the final summary. What truly happened in those missing 30 seconds? Was the data simply lost to corruption, a random act of digital fate, or could it have been deliberately erased? A chilling thought that no one dared voice aloud. Could the black box itself have malfunctioned, a silent witness failing in its duty, recording partial truths or even distorted ones? The specter of equipment error, or even human error in its maintenance or retrieval, always lingered in the periphery of her thoughts. And why, she wondered, were the questions she kept raising about the strange power fluctuation. The unusual atmospheric conditions, reported by other aircraft in the vicinity, so consistently dismissed from the final narrative. It was as if some truths were too inconvenient, too complex, to be included in a report meant to provide simple, definitive closure. Eleanor spent countless nights staring at the data, the charts, the replayed audio, searching for a pattern, a hidden message. She realized, with a profound sense of humility, that the black box was not a perfect witness. It was a cold, impartial recorder of facts, speeds, altitudes, engine parameters, cockpit sounds. It captured what? But it couldn't capture the why. It couldn't capture the fear in a pilot's heart, the split-second decision made under impossible pressure, the nuance of human intention, or the silent battle against an unseen force. It recorded the symptoms, but not necessarily the disease itself. And without the why, true accountability, true understanding, remained elusive, a ghost in the machine. The black box presented facts, but those facts still required human interpretation, human understanding, and human empathy. And in that interpretation lay the potential for bias, for oversight, for the very human desire for simplicity over complexity. Who were the true interpreters of this silent witness? And how could they be held accountable when the full truth remained elusive, perhaps forever lost to the mountains and the missing data? Eleanor's journey through the labyrinth of Flight 714's demise changed her forever. She no longer saw the black box as an infallible oracle, but as a powerful, yet limited, tool. Its value was undeniable, but its testimony was not always the complete narrative. It taught her that true reliability lies not just in the data itself, but in the relentless human spirit that seeks to interpret it responsibly, critically, and with an unwavering commitment to deeper understanding. The case of Flight 714 was never fully resolved to her satisfaction, leaving a lingering ache, a permanent question mark in her career. But it forged in Eleanor a new kind of strength, a resilience born from embracing complexity rather than shying away from it. It taught her that the most profound truths often reside in the gray areas, in the acknowledgments of what we don't know, and in the courage to keep asking questions, even when the answers are uncomfortable or incomplete. The true inspiration, she realized, wasn't in finding easy solutions, but in the persistent, humble quest for understanding, knowing that absolute certainty might be unattainable, but the pursuit itself enriches us, pushing us to be more diligent, more empathetic, and ultimately, more human. The black box may record the facts, but it is the human heart that seeks to truly understand the story behind them. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more.